What's going on, people? This is Shok, and finally here is my video on Smash Ultimate. I'm finally able to actually get around to it. And this is probably going to be a really long video, guys, because there's a lot to unpack here. There was tons and tons of things revealed and announced at that last direct. And like I said in my video where I was going to be doing the stream, my reaction to the direct live, based off the E3 reveal, I was doing like 40-minute videos, and now that we have like 10 times more information since from what we had from the E3 reveal, it's probably going to be like an hour 20 long or something like that. But no, I'm going to try to compact it as much as I can. I actually made some notes here, so I'm not going to touch on every little thing, but I'm going to try to make sure I cover everything at least a little bit. First things first, of course, it's hard to talk about this game and not first discuss the roster. Like they said in the trailer, everyone is back. Every character that's ever been in a Smash game is in this game. And I mean, I know everyone is not going to know, how hard it is to, develop a game. And specifically, especially, making a fighting game character is actually pretty intricate and, and complex. So including every fighter you've ever had in the series, that is a huge undertaking. And you guys know me, I've always been the one to encourage constructive, criticism of Nintendo and all these video game companies, not just Nintendo, but, I've always been about, the criticism, letting them know what the fans want, so on and so forth. So when I say that you are being completely ungrateful if you are complaining about the inclusions or lack of inclusions on this game, that's how you know you're being pretty freaking ungrateful. If Shokio of all people is telling you that, because I'm the first person who's gonna be there if something is wrong. Talking about why it's wrong, how it's wrong, pointing it out. You guys know what I mean? Like that's gonna be me. So if I'm saying that if you're not happy with this roster and you're being ungrateful, you need to check yourself because you're definitely being pretty freaking ungrateful. I'm gonna think excluding the Echo Fighters, there's 67 fighters in this game. Including the Echo Fighters, I believe it's about 71. I believe it's the exact number, 71 or 72. And just to reiterate, just in case this wasn't already clear, no, the Echo Fighters are not taking up spots that would otherwise go to completely unique characters. These are fighters that are already based on pre-existing characters with just a few, adjustments and changes here and there, and that's it. Sakurai and the team aren't really taking out any time, resources, or money adding in these characters. You can honestly just literally view them as extras, because that's basically what they are. They're just extra characters. They're just built off of the same characters that are already there, just if you want them to, if you just want a different aesthetic for that character. You see what I'm saying? Basically, and a couple different moves you might prefer here and there and whatnot. But yeah, like I said on Facebook yesterday, if we just had the current roster, and Sakurai, if he never added another single character from this moment going forward, I'd still be totally okay with this roster. I'd be completely satisfied. And that's not to say there aren't characters not in there that I would like. Of course, there's characters I would still like in there that haven't been announced and most likely won't be announced. But just saying that, there's still characters I want, that's not me also saying that I'd be ungrateful if these characters weren't, included, or I'd be upset or something or disappointed if they're not, because I wouldn't. Again, 67 characters. I don't see how people could be upset with the exclusion of any character at this point in time, because you have so many on this roster. There should definitely be at least 5 characters that you fuck with heavy in this game. You see what I'm saying? At least 5 at the very least. If they have all these characters, you only like 1 or 2 of the characters and you wish they had more, something's wrong with you, man. That's all I gotta say. Now, with that being said, I don't want you guys to misconstrue this or, not misunderstand it. I actually kind of wish Sakurai didn't go this route. I know you guys are like, what do you mean? Are you crazy? He included everybody. I appreciate the fact that he did. It's cool. It's awesome. I love it. But when I say that I wish he didn't go this route, there's 2 reasons why I'm saying this. One, and this is the most important one, now it's going to be hard to top. You know what I mean? Now Sakurai has set this ridiculous standard. So for any future Smash game that comes out, right? I just feel like fans are going to complain, people are going to be unsatisfied if absolutely every character from the previous games, including Ultimate, aren't included. So now Sakurai has set this like just incredibly impossible standard and this huge undertaking for him and his team that he's probably going to have to meet every iteration to satisfy the fan base. And I know Sakurai said himself that future Smash titles may not include every character, but we all know that Sakurai saying something and Sakurai doing something oftentimes are two different things. I mean, this is like the third Smash game he said would be his last. And voila, we're here 3 games later and he's still making Smash games. So that's one, right? I just feel like if any other Smash game has less characters, that alone is going to kind of diminish it and it's going to look inferior in Ultimate's eyes. You see what I mean? 2, and again, I like the fact that he is doing this. It's just like one little thing that it's just for me personally kind of bothers me a little bit is there's characters in there I wish didn't come back. You know what I mean? To make space and room for other characters. For instance, I didn't want Corrin back. I did not want Corrin back. I feel like they should have kept Corrin out, and that way when the new Fire Emblem game comes out for Switch, they could just use Corrin's spot for him, right? Or her, whoever the protagonist is going to be in the next Fire Emblem game. Now, likely, yeah, maybe the next Fire Emblem protagonist will be added in anyways because of DLC, but then you have like 50 million Fire Emblem characters now, and there already is a lot. I'm not one of those people to complain about the Fire Emblem characters, but there will come a cutoff point to where I'm like, okay, that's a little too much, right? Yeah, like, we don't need all that. But yeah, there's just certain characters I feel like could have been swapped out, excluded, for the sake of replacing them with the newer versions and representations of their series or franchise. You see what I mean? For instance, when like the Pokemon Switch game comes out, there's probably going to be a new kind of lead starter Pokemon like Greninja was. Like put him in there instead of Greninja. Could have got rid of him. Could have got rid of Corrin. Just a lot of characters I feel like weren't really synonymous with Smash. They didn't really feel like Smash characters. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think back on that roster. Who else I would definitely have left out the Miis. No one played them in the first place. If it were up to me, I would have excluded Cloud and Bayonetta, but they became so synonymous with Smash 4 and the competitive scene and all that I definitely understand the value of them being re-added to the game. Personally, I didn't like the inclusion of all these freaking third parties, but of course at this point in time, I'm kind of like, whatever, I'm used to it. I moved on from it. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's just some characters I wish were taken out. Not even just because I wasn't crazy about the characters or I hated the characters, but simply just to make space for other characters I feel are, more deserving. And now I feel like in newer iterations of their respective games, now it's just going to be really, really flooded with characters of certain genres, like the Fire Emblem example, I gave, for instance, and whatnot. Robin, they could have taken Robin out. I don't think, there's just certain characters I feel like people really would not miss like that in mass. You know what I mean? Like Robin, I don't think anyone would have fretted if they took Robin out. You know what I mean? Like, it's Robin. I'm trying to think. I didn't play Smash 4 that much, so I'm trying to think back on the roster. But yeah, you guys pretty much get the gist. Like I said, I'm glad he's doing all the characters thing. I'm just saying, if it were up to me and I was designing it, I would definitely have cut some characters to make room for some newer ones. Moving on from that, let's talk about the things that kind of happened in the most recent Direct. Simon got announced. Like I said in my reaction, I'm kind of indifferent to that. Now, I get why people are hype. I know he was highly requested, and I'm happy for you guys who did want Simon in. For me, despite the fact that he was very synonymous with the Nintendo brand, back in the day, I just feel like in between then and now, there's been such an incredibly huge disconnect of the Castlevania series to the Nintendo brand, to where his inclusion is just strange to me. You guys see what I'm saying? And I know there's that Castlevania game on 3DS, but that alone kind of it's not enough to even really mention it. It's not really relevant when you're bringing up the relationship between Castlevania and the Nintendo platforms. You know what I mean? That's the best way I can explain it. I just feel like there's a huge disconnect between Castlevania and Nintendo after all these years. When I think Castlevania, I don't I don't think Nintendo. You know what I mean? I just think just like seeing him there visually is just a bit odd. Not against his inclusion. I'm indifferent. I'm just kind of like, I mean, like I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. You know, because it's like, when's the last time, you know, we like Castlevania has been a Nintendo thing or been heavily related to Nintendo, like Sonic has. You know, stuff like that. Um, but I'm not against it. And Richter is in there as well. That's pretty cool, dope, whatever. 103 stages. I had made a Facebook post shortly after the E3 Direct, and I was like, "Oh man, we're gonna have every character in every stage." And people were like, "Nah, they never confirmed every stage. Yeah, every stage isn't confirmed yet, but at 103, that's basically almost every stage. I think there's what like only like 10 stages missing between all four games. There's like 10 stages missing or something, some low number like that. And a lot of the ones that are missing, honestly, wouldn't care about. The only one that's missing that I really want is like is Pokefloats. Pokefloats absolutely needs to come back, hands down. That's like one of the best Smash stages of all time. But yeah, basically every stage that ever existed is coming back. I believe. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my desk. I believe the N64 stages are staying the way they are graphically, I think. Well, actually, no, Hyrule Castle got a graphical upgrade, I think. But I think he's trying to keep the retro look intact at the same time. Whereas, like, a lot of the Melee stages actually got kind of, like, just reworked and, like, redone. Like, Fountain of Dreams, which is also one of my favorite Smash stages of all time because the aesthetic and the music there is just so hype. That stage looks so freaking beautiful, you know. So it's not even that they're just taking these stages and like slapping them over either. Like a lot of these stages are getting, you know, facelifts, and of course, you know, with the stage hazard control that you're able to turn off and on, you can do that. And there's going to be Battlefield and FD versions of all of the stages. So these stages are not just straight port overs. He's not just taking code and just slapping it over, right? He's actually altering these things and, you know, building upon them. Like that's crazy. When you already have a roster that huge, it's hard to balance and craft a game with that many characters. And then on top of that, he's handling 103 stages, over 300 if you want to include, you know, the coding and effort that goes into making a, you know, Battlefield version and a Final Destination version of those stages. Just insane. 800 tracks in the game. You can also use your Switch as a music player. That's like whatever, but a cool little extra, I guess. That's also a huge undertaking to get all the licensing for that music from like the third parties and stuff like that, including that all into the game. I don't know what type of cartridge they're going to use for this game. It must be like a 528 gig cartridge. Of course not. I'm just messing, but that's a crap load of music. Getting into the game modes and stuff. I'm sure this is what you guys really wanted to hear. The stage morphing I thought was really freaking cool. When I first saw it, I was thinking that you could just like, it was like a random thing. Like you could hit the random button and during the match, it will actually go to a random stage. I think that would be even cooler and even more fun because you don't know what you're getting. But apparently the feature is limited to 2 stages, which is still really freaking cool. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun for casual play. For those of you who don't know what it is or you missed the direct somehow, basically at the stage select screen, you can select one stage and then another. And then you can select the interval of how often you want those stages to change into each other. So basically I could select like, let's say Hyrule Temple. And then I could select Smashville. I start on Hyrule Temple. After maybe like a minute, 25 seconds, it will actually like morph into Smashville. And then Smashville will morph back into Hyrule Temple. That's just, that's insane. I don't know how the hell he did that. I think the Switch being cartridge based has a lot to do with how fast that feature can load. I think that has a lot to do with how viable that feature was for Sakurai to implement into the game. That just kind of blew my mind. I'm sure it blew a lot of your guys' minds too. That was just crazy and insane to me. The Final Smash meter. Let's talk about this because I've seen a lot of discussion about this. A lot of people are saying like, oh, can we finally incorporate Final Smashes into competitive play? The answer is still no. And while this does, of course, make Final Smashes more viable, because the issue, I mean, outside of the balance of the Final Smashes themselves, which I'll get to in a second, the main reason why Final Smashes were banned from tournament was because it was just a huge disadvantage for slower characters or characters with really poor mobility. They pretty much had no chance of getting the Smash Ball. The faster characters would just always get it. But now that it's on a meter, people are saying, well, now you don't have to worry about chasing around this flying ball. You know, you can just build it up like you would in a traditional fighter. And the Final Smashes have been weakened for the metered version of them. And of course, this option is also toggleable off, on and off, and whatnot. So a lot of people are saying like, hey, you know, can we make this tournament viable? The answer is definitely still going to be no. I think we should definitely give it a try. Of course, anyone who's been in the competitive scene, anyone who TOs knows that you should go ahead and try most things just for the sake of trying it. But I'm going to let you know right now it's not going to happen. But what I would like to see is like side events of this mode, along with the new stamina mode. So in the past, guys, stamina mode was just that. It was just stamina. You spawn with like 300% HP, and you do damage until the 300% is gone. It's just pretty much putting a health bar on Smash. But what you weren't able to do before was combine the health bars with stocks. So basically now you can combine stock mode with stamina mode. So you can have, you know, 300% stamina, but also have 3 stocks. Meaning that you really need to take 900%. So now you can kind of treat it as like winning a round, you know, within a match. You know, round 1, round 2, you have to win 2 rounds within the 1 match to get a game. You see what I'm saying? So now you can kind of treat it like that way. You can kind of play Smash like a more traditional fighter. Of course, you can still fall off the stage, but you can actually put a health bar on Smash now, as well as a metered super. Basically, is what Final Smashes are. So I would love to actually see side events that feature this at tournaments. It's never going to be a mainstay in main brackets and serious tournaments or anything like that. But I definitely do think there should be like some official, you know, game mode that the community makes up and runs alongside the main brackets. I think that'd be really cool. Crew mode, what was it called? Player strike or something like that. It was something strike, team strike or smash strike, strike smash, something like that. It's pretty much a 3v3 or 5v5 mode. This is also a really cool inclusion. For those of us who play competitive Smash, it's nothing new, especially for people who play Project M, because Project M already had a crew battle mode. But that's essentially what this thing is. It's a crew battle mode. You could choose 5 characters, another team chooses 5 characters, and it could either be like one person using those 5 characters and one person using the other 5, or you could, of course, just do 5 people using 5, 5 people using 5, and it's a crew battle. And you go one by one, and you know, the winner stays and the next person on the other team fights them and tries to eliminate them. That's really cool that he went ahead and implemented that as an official mode. There's also a Iron Man mode. I also forgot the name of that as well. Excuse me right now. But this is also something that's really not new for those of us who are competitive players, but it's dope that there's an actual official mode for this in the game. But it's pretty much where you go through the entire roster using characters one by one. And you pretty much see like who's the more versatile, you know, player, who has the more mastery over the entire roster, and so that's really cool. Except this mode actually strikes out characters for both players, I believe. So if one person uses Wario, that other person can't use Wario at all for the remainder of the mode, which is a little different from how we usually do crew battles. Not crew battles, excuse me, Iron Man mode. And it's called Iron Man because, you know, Iron Man is, you know, he has utility for everything, kind of like Batman's utility belt, whatever. That's why it's called Iron Man. But yeah, you know, in the regular mode, both players get to use everybody, but in this mode, it strikes any character that is used. So that's the only difference. But I think that's really cool as well. So the content in this game is just absolutely insane. It's crazy. I didn't expect all of this. This still isn't even everything. You know, this is only the second direct. The game still has till December to come out. He has a whole game mode blurred out. It could be the single player. It could be something completely different. It could be something that just completely takes us off guard. We don't know, but I'm definitely sure that there's more to come. The things I want to see are, you know, target smash, you know, board the platforms, stuff like that. Give us a race to the finish. I would love a melee adventure mode back. That'd be so cool. But I want to see the game modes outside of the ones I listed, because those are kind of like the group game modes. I'm talking about the other things that are going to be in like games and more, you know, stadium and all that stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about, the multi-man melee and all that. And the reason why I'm very interested to hear about that stuff is because I thought Smash 4's single player offerings, although you could do co-op on them, if you guys know what I mean. I thought they were very, very weak. Like the new game modes, Trophy Smash, I think is what it was called. Trash, man, trash. They ruined Target Smash. They replaced it with some Angry Birds type stuff. Just, it was awful. The only mode that Smash 4 added that was actually really dope was Smash Run, and I hope that returns. Other than that, the whole Master Orders and all the other stuff they added, it was just like, okay, you know, it really wasn't fun at all. Brawl single player modes, amazing. Melee stuff was amazing, but Smash 4's was just, it's just very lackluster. I didn't feel like unlocking those customs. I'm glad they weren't ever turned illegal, because I mean, well, they were, they tried them out, but you know, I'm glad they didn't end up being turned illegal, because I didn't want to play all those game modes for those customs anyways. They just weren't fun. They were very uninspiring. They ruined a lot of the previous ones. Even things like the event matches in Smash 4, I felt were just incredibly weak. I just don't feel like there was as much creativity put into them as there was in Brawl and Melees. They were just very bland and just very basic, a lot of them. Granted, I didn't finish them, so let me go ahead and put that out there. Maybe there's some really crazy, unique ones I missed out on, but the reason why I didn't finish them is because I was bored with them. They were just boring. Mind you, I completed all the Melees multiple times. Like, I've spent 3,000 hours on my original data, and I say original because my memory card ended up getting corrupted over and over again. But before the first time my memory card got corrupted on the GameCube, I had 3,000 hours on Melee. And I've probably put in another 3,000 after that overall, just kind of over time. So like, I played the event matches over and over and over again. Did the same thing for Brawl. Not as much as I did Melees, but I did the same thing for Brawl. I did all the event matches, and I did them all over, you know, a couple times. And, you know, Brawl had the, you know, the All-Star mode, and the boss battle, and all that stuff was really good. I thought Smash 4 single-player content was just very lame, very lackluster. In my eyes, if you were booting up Smash 4, you were booting up Smash 4 solely to play with other people. Which, sure, is the main focus of the game, is this multiplayer. But you know, a lot of people don't think, you know, we can appreciate these things as competitive players. I'm a competitive Smash player. I enjoy the single player content. I value the single player content. A lot of people think when I say Smash 4 is weak, I'm solely talking about the gameplay, which sure is most of it, of course, yeah. But it's also, even from a casual standpoint and a single player standpoint, not really enjoying it. I mean, I didn't really enjoy Smash 4's single player and game modes and all that at all. I really didn't. Pretty trash in my opinion. So now that we talked about all that, I've kind of gotten the more general stuff that everyone cares about out the way. Now I'm going to kind of go into the gameplay and the mechanics and stuff like that. So all you more casual players, you know, you're not interested in that junk, you know, this is probably where you could turn off the video. But I want to discuss the new mechanics and, you know, what they mean for the game. The differences between this game and Smash 4. One being, let's start with the perfect shielding. I actually like the change they did to perfect shielding. I think they made it both weaker and stronger in a way, because it's actually much easier to parry a move at the beginning of a shield rather than releasing it. And the reason being is that releasing your shield is 10 times riskier, right? So even if you know someone is going to do a certain attack, and for those of you who don't know, the new perfect shield or parry mechanic in this game is you hold shield, and as the move is about to hit you, you release it. As to where before, it was you press the shield right before it hits you rather than release it. So you started it before you released it, but now you release it. But anyways, so you know it's a lot more riskier to do this time around, because even if you know something is coming, if you mess up the timing, you're gonna get smacked by that. Not to mention, if you're gonna be pressing shield, you can just hold shield, take the hit on your shield, and then just do an out of shield punish anyways if they misspaced their move or the move is just unsafe on shield or whatever. But I still think it's a really cool mechanic. I think people who master the timing for this thing are definitely going to be set a bar above, you know, the general player. I think anyone who's going to master this is really going to like destroy people. But it's going to be a really risky mechanic to use. It's probably not going to be something a lot of people are going to bother with early on, I think. I think that's something that might start coming along, you know, kind of when we're in the midway into the game's, you know, competitive life or whatever. But I do like the change, and the stun that it puts on your opponent is equivalent to the strength of the move that they're trying to hit you with. So what that means is that if you parry a jab, that should mean in most cases that you should only be able to get a jab or move as fast as a jab out there to punish that. If someone hits you with a smash attack, they should be stunned enough to where you can respond with your own smash attack. I think that's really cool. That adds another layer. I think that's really dope. I just don't think it's going to be as applicable as the old perfect shielding was, but it will be more powerful when you actually use it than the old perfect shielding was. And who's this? Okay, Google for some reason thought I was trying to call it. I was not trying to call you. Anyways, moving on. Dash canceling. For those who don't know, dash canceling is when you're moving with your character and you're sprinting with them, but you're able to cancel the sprint with another action outside of just doing a dash attack. So my main problem with Smash 4 is honestly the movement. My problem with Smash 4 is that when you were dashing in Smash 4, you're committed. You're fully committed when you dash in Smash 4. There's only two things you can do: dash attack, which is of course really risky to do, or you could just shield. And that's why the main method of movement in Smash 4 was run, shield, run, shield, run, shield, because that was the only way to actually stop your momentum right there on the spot with shielding. And if you kind of look at it, just look at any tournament footage, it looks kind of dumb. And it's also dumb that you even have to do that, right? That the game lacks so many movement options that you had to shield to stop your momentum and switch directions or do a move or something, right? But now in Smash Ultimate, you can do anything you want out of a dash. So you can dash and just stop. You won't have to worry about the slide. You can even dash in this game and then just dash back out of a full dash. Not necessarily like a dash dance. I'm talking about dash and you're running and then just like go the other direction like that. That's actually something you weren't able to do in any of the Smash games. So that's really cool. You can dash up smash, dash, crouch, dash down tilt, which is huge, dash stop jab. You can just do a jab. You can do any action you want out of jab. And that may sound like a small change for those of you who may not be into competitive play like that, but that actually means a whole lot in terms of not only movement, but also character viability. Because there's a lot of characters in Smash 4 who would have been a lot better if they were able to use certain options out of a full dash. You know what I mean? And then, of course, there is dash dancing in the game. It's not quite Melee or Project M's dash dancing, but it is a form of dash dancing. It's just a bit more loose. In Melee, you could kind of go like this, kind of like you could kind of mix up the distances. Whereas as far as Ultimate goes, it kind of seems like the window to turn around is kind of set and it's a bit larger, but you can still do that. So while Melee, you can do this like really close, or you kind of do it farther and anywhere in between. Ultimate is kind of like, kind of like that. So you can dash dance. It's just a bit slower and not nearly as aggressive, but it's still a thing and it's in the game. And it just adds another movement option. My main problem with Smash 4 was that I never felt like I could move my character exactly where I wanted them to. I always feel like the momentum was just weird. Everything was kind of slidey. I was never able to place my character where I wanted to. And then on top of that, I was never able to use the moves I wanted to once I got to that place. You know what I mean? And Ultimate, being able to dash cancel completely fixes this issue. It's great. Air dodges. I like the fact that they compromised and kept both types of air dashes, air dodges in the game. But one big thing that they did to both of them was make them incredibly laggy, which is great. Because if you guys watch some of the invitational footage, I think it was like watch Zero versus who was that playing Snake when they were on Frigate Orpheon. I forgot who he was playing against, but watch that match, Zero Sheik versus the Snake he was playing. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Leo. I think, or was Mr. R there? I don't know. I think it was Mr. R. Yeah, not Leo. Zero versus Mr. R. There's a lot of times where Mr. R would air dodge and Zero would miss, but the air dodge was so laggy that Zero was just able to back air and get the punish anyways. So basically, in this game, you can't just spam air dodge whenever you get hit up in the air. And that's great because in Smash 4, it just kind of made getting the positional advantage kind of minute or, weaker than it should be. Because if you're below someone in Smash, that's a huge advantage because you get to shark them with aerials and stuff, right? But when you just have an infinite air dodge and you can just act out of it immediately, that didn't mean so much. But now air dodging is so laggy, You have to use it in very smart situations where you know you're not going to get hit anyway. So you can't just start spamming air dodge as soon as you get hit. That's great. Also, the lag they made to the air dodge system also kind of creates an environment where you can go off stage and edge guard again. Because we all know edge guarding was incredibly weak and largely non-existent from Smash 4. And I know you guys are probably going to start seeing clips of people, edge guarding in Smash 4, and also, this is edge guarding. What do you mean? Here's this one clip of this guy jumping off stage and hitting someone. Those are the exceptions, not the rules. Though, jumping off stage and hitting someone, that wasn't the norm in Smash 4. That wasn't typical. That's something that would happen every now and then when someone decided to, right? But most of the time, you'll see people just stand on the stage because it wasn't even worth going off stage in the first place because they had infinite air dodges. So you could just go out there and swipe somebody, they air dodge, they get back to the ledge. Now you're off stage and they're on the ledge, so they have the positional advantage now. You see what I mean? But now, since air dodging is too laggy, if you try to air dodge when you're off stage, your character will most likely end up dying because you air dodge and then there's lag and you're falling and you're not immediately able to act out of the air dodge like you were in Smash 4. So edge guarding is actually back in the game. Now there's still magnet hands, although based on what I've seen, the magnet hands are they've been kind of weakened a little bit. They're still there, but it's definitely not as ridiculous as it was in Smash 4. And for those of you who may not be competitive players and you're still watching this video with all this technical mumbo jumbo talk, magnet hands are basically when your character is nowhere near the ledge and they just like snap to it. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen it. And it's also when you don't have to space your recovery. You don't have to like space it at all. You can just kind of start it almost anywhere and your character will automatically sweet spot it and grab the ledge. As for in other games, like let's say I'm Marth and Melee, if I up B, Marth's going to go up here. Whereas in Smash 4, if Marth were to up B right here, he would stop and grab the ledge, right? He wouldn't overshoot it. So a sweet spot is where you space your recovery the perfect distance, up B, and you grab the ledge. But Smash 4 kind of mitigated that. Now it wasn't so space, dependent or anything like that, or distance dependent. You can pretty much sweet spot from, any distance, despite the fact that it goes this long or this far. You see what I mean? That's the best way I can explain it with my fingers. I'm sorry. But yeah, air dodge is really cool. The directional air dodge has kind of added in a pseudo wave landing. There's no wave dashes because apparently you cannot air dodge after a certain amount of frames after jumping off the ground. So there's pretty much like a window where you're locked out of air dodging once you jump off the ground, that is. Of course, not in the air. But I have seen instances where people have actually used the directional air dodge to get on a platform and actually get a follow-up or a punish on it. It is a little laggier than, the wavelands we're used to from like Melee and whatnot. But it's something. And it kind of works. I've seen it work in multiple videos of someone wave landing and actually getting a follow-up or a punish. So that's really cool. And that kind of ties in with my problem with Smash 4, the movement, right? In Smash 4, when I knock someone on a platform, I can't jump on that platform and grab. Or I can't jump on that platform and do a smash attack. Because in Smash 4, if you want to jump on a platform, you got to jump through it with a full hop and then fast fall down to it. As where, in Melee PM, a game where you have directional air dodge, you can use the directional air dodge to jump, cut the jump short, and then like slide onto the platform. And then since you're grounded on the platform faster, you can use grounded options on your opponent on that platform. You don't have to just rely on doing an up air or up smash to get them, or an aerial, right? I can actually jump up there, waveland, get a grab, or something like that. I wish I should have had like one of the games booted up or something so I could show this, but I figure if you're in the video this deep, this late into the game, you already know what all this stuff is or what it means, so whatever. Higher percents in 1v1s. I don't know how to feel about this. It kind of sounds like it makes sense at first, but then when you think about it, it kind of doesn't. Because Sakurai's trying to speed up the speed of the game. And you would think, of course, adding more damage would mean people die faster, right? Which is, it's true to a certain extent. Because for those of you who don't know, damage is actually directly proportionate to how strong an attack is. So if you have an attack that does like 50 damage, like that attack, of course, is probably going to like one-hit KO you, or something like that. As to where if you have a move that does 3%, 4%, of course that move's not going to move you anywhere, really. But the problem with this is that doing higher damage in 1v1s means the combo game is kind of weakened a little bit. Because if you're doing more damage in 1v1s, more damage equals more knockback. So if I'm hitting you farther away because we're not doing a free-for-all, it's just me and you, a 1v1. If I'm hitting you farther away, that gives me less opportunities to get a follow-up move. So let's say I get a grab and I down throw, but the down throw is doing extra damage now, and you move out of the range of me doing like a follow-up up air or something like that. It kind of ends up causing you to actually do less damage over time. You see what I mean? Because you're not able to get the combos, you're not able to get the strings, you're not able to get the follow-ups. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know how to feel about that. And in combination with this, you have the balloon knockback that Sakurai has added. For those of you who don't know, this is referring to when you hit an enemy with a really strong move and they go flying off stage, they fly to their destination a lot faster now. So in previous Smash games, it was kind of like a set pace, kind of like just a gradual set speed until they got to the point where they would get out of the hit stun, right? But now in Smash Ultimate, it's like, and then they stopped abruptly like that. So it's like that in Ultimate. That's where in other Smash games, it was like that, right? But now it's like very jarring and very quick. And of course, if you have enemies flying faster away from you, right? That means that, of course, your character is going to have a way smaller window of opportunity to try to get a follow-up move once you launch them. You see what I'm saying? So if I down throw you, but you fly faster to the down throw, I'm going to have less time to try to catch you while your character is flying. So these two changes he made to increase the pace of the game, and I get where he's coming from, and I get his logic. But at the same time, the logic is kind of a little flawed in that regard, because it ends up killing the combo potential in the game. And honestly, this is my only major complaint. And I say major, but do I actually have another complaint about the game? I don't think so. Well, ledge trumping. I wish they would just take that out completely, but I understand that we'll never get exactly how we want, a Smash from a competitive standpoint. So I accept the compromise and the in-between Smash 4 and the competitive Smashes and whatnot. I'm cool with that. I can live with the ledge trumping and all that. I'd rather them just go back to where only one person can be on a ledge at a time, or whatever. You can like ledge hog and oh my god, that's cheap. Like you're trash if you call that cheap. You don't know how to play the game. Plain and simple. But yeah, I'm sorry. What was I saying? The compromise off stage. What was I saying? Oh yeah. That's really my only major complaint is that the combo game looks a little weaker than even Smash 4. Smash 4 already kind of had a much weaker combo game compared to the other Smash games. Of course, not including Brawl, because we all know Brawl had like 0 hit stun. So I'm talking about in terms of 64 melee and whatnot. Smash 4 had combos, but a lot of them were like very percent specific, and a lot of them were like you have to start this combo at like between 0 to 3% or else it won't work. Type stuff, or a lot of them were just like the same move over and over again, like chic, fair, and those weren't really fun, unique, or exciting. But Ultimate, while it's mechanically way superior to Smash 4, the one thing that is bothering me about this game is that the combo game is looking a tad bit weak. Now, that's not as bad as it normally would be, because at least the game overall is faster. Sakurai has increased the overall speed of the game, and he's also reduced the landing lag on aerials, which means that when you do an aerial attack and you land, your character is not going to be in that oof animation for so long. They'll like snap back standing up and run and continue doing whatever action you want to do. So that also increases the pace of the game. So even if you can't do like combos or strings like that, at least the game is moving faster, so it doesn't feel as bad. But I would still like for Sakurai to at least add a little bit more hit stun into the game, so that way when we hit somebody, they're in stun a bit longer before they can jump or act out of it, act out of getting hit or whatnot. And that's really the only like major change I really want. Like, yeah, I would want the ledge trump gone. I think that's just a bad and boring mechanic. But like I said, I can live with that because everything else is just so good. Movement wise, you can edge guard now. All that stuff is dope. All that stuff is great. But the combo potential is looking pretty weak in this game. But I believe that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about and cover. I don't think I missed anything. I forgot to talk about the new training mode. I guess it's kind of good that I forgot because this is kind of more on the competitive side of things. I'm sure the casuals wouldn't care about it. But the new training mode is it's like a grid, and it will actually show the knockback. I guess you could say the travel pass of when you hit somebody at 150 and 0%. I just thought that was so extremely cool that Sakurai would throw a bone to competitive players like that. So this mode, it has the measurements and stuff. For those of you guys who may not get it or understand it, this basically is going to allow you to lab your character. You can see exactly where your move is going to send a character, every time when you hit them at this percent. Of course, depending on their DI, on their directional influence, right? So you're going to be able to lab. You're going to be able to optimize your combos and conversions and stuff like that. And that's the last thing I expected Sakurai to do, but he included it. And that's something that's been included in a lot of like the Smash mods and stuff like that. For instance, PM. So it's just really cool to see something that was like made for a competitive mod also being put into the official, into an official game. That's just really cool. Shouts to Sakurai. He is actually trying. And I'm not saying he didn't try with, Smash 4. Of course, he's put in a lot of effort in all of his Smash games. I'm saying as far as, the competitive scene goes and the competitive crowd. He's actually trying this time around to really cater to us and throw us some real bones here. Not just the Final Destination mode of every stage. Like that was a little something, but those of us who play, understand why that was a little bit silly because, a stage like that benefits so many other characters over others, right? You don't always want to go there, and then it's still the same stage at the end of the day. But anyways, yeah, rambling on long enough, guys. That's pretty much my only complaint. I'm really excited for this game. It has so much going on. I know it's called Smash Ultimate, but for real, man, like this might be the best Smash game by far. And I think this game is going to be really hard to top. I'm very excited for this game. A lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to play it. And when they say that, they mean like, am I going to compete? Am I going to go to tournaments for it? Unless when I get it in launch day, it ends up being incredibly disappointing. I definitely plan on playing this game alongside Project M. Maybe I won't travel specifically for an Ultimate tournament. Like PM will still be my main game as far as competitive play goes. But who knows? Maybe it'll surprise me and it'll exceed my current expectations that I already have, and I'll really like it. And at which point I would go to places to play it. I would definitely go to Evo. For it for sure. That's one tournament I would go to specifically like for Ultimate, something that big. But as far as like smaller ones, I'm not sure. I'm definitely gonna go to locals, here in Dallas, and I definitely go to something like Evo, but something that's like a regional or another national elsewhere, maybe not so much. But we'll see what happens. But as of right now, as of this moment, yes, I do plan on playing this game competitively. I'm going to play it secondary to PM. Game's going to be incredibly fun, and not only that, but I'm also just excited for the game casually as well. Again, all my disappointments with Smash 4 were not from a competitive, mindset or competitive view. That game disappointed me from a casual standpoint as well. Ultimate is looking like a freaking blast to play. It has so many options. Oh, and apparently there's going to be an option to turn off Rage too. I forgot to mention that, but there's just so many options. There's just so much going to this game. It just further spits in the face of all those people who try to ridicule someone for the way they play Smash. Some people will ridicule casual players. Casual players will ridicule competitive players. Yes, that's a real thing that happens, yeah. And Sakurai is just sitting here adding all these switches and options and buttons. Like, if you haven't noticed by now, the whole point of Smash is to literally play the way you want to play it. And how that message could be missed now is beyond me. But it should be obvious at this point. There is no right way to play Smash. There is no correct way to play Smash. The only right way to play Smash is the way you want to play Smash. And Sakurai has made that plainly clear with all the things and additions and modes and options that he has put into this game. But shouts to Sakurai, man. Like I said, he could add no other characters. I'll be completely fine with this roster. I'm excited for this game. Going to be playing it day one. Going to be streaming it day one. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. But that's for this video, y'all. I know it's long as hell. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.